Previously on the Tagline. Or what was supposed to be the tagline last week. We're going to talk about David Leitch directing a Jurassic World movie. Well, that's not happening, so that's dead news. And then we were also going to go over all the trailers during the Super Bowl, which that's already happened, so that's done. Now you're all caught up, and we'll go ahead and talk about news this week. Let's go. What is going on, everyone? It is Wednesday night. This is the Cinefanatics channel. My name is Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
And you are here for the Tagline. Now I'm not feeling good this week.
It's a show where the tagline is the title.
That it is. That would be a correct statement there. So thank y'all. Welcome. We're going to have some fun talking about a lot of this is like, I remember before, and we still do this from time to time, but like always complaining about like when the tagline was on Tuesday night, and for some reason studios like to make big announcements on Wednesdays, and we're like, now we gotta wait till next week when everyone's already done talking about that new Deadpool trailer or whatever big
we actually get to talk about the news as it happens on the day this day.
Yeah, which is funny because I woke up this morning. I like to get the thumbnail for tagline done the night before, so I'm not rushing the day of. I did not do that last night. I woke up this morning like, man, I got to figure out what to do for thumbnail. Before I even got out of bed, I am laying there on my phone like, oh, well, that was easy. I immediately knew exactly what this thumbnail was going to look like.
There's only 4 things I need to put on the thumbnail.
Pretty much, yeah. So, yeah, got that done real quick. So we'll be talking about that here in a little while. Before we get started, though, YouTube things. Y'all know how this goes. Streamlabs.com/Cinefanatics. Y'all got any questions, comments, issues, complaints? Let us know there. That's a good way to make sure we get some eyes on it. I got a little thing down here that lets me know when Streamlabs comes in. Let's see if y'all can make that light up just a little bit. Annoy me if you must. Like, interrupt me by having this thing pop up. That would be great. Thank you.
Trust me, it's fun to annoy him.
It is. Wait, huh? Anyways, moving on. Patreon.com/Cinefanatics. If you think these shenanigans happening everywhere is worth your money and you have the means to support us, please hop on the tier. It's good for you. There's only 2 tiers, $1, $5. Go dig in your couch once a month. I mean, help us out here. That being said, coming up, if you are on the $1 tier, you get access to our Discord and all the chats and fun things there. If you're on the $5 tier, you get to join us twice a month. We've got the trivia hangout and the movie watch along this month. Let's see, next Wednesday after tagline will be the trivia that is going to be on the 21st between 8 Pacific and 11 Eastern. So that will be next week, roughly after tagline is over. Chris, did you get an update?
Yeah, we're currently awaiting confirmation from our quiz master on exactly what the theme is. We already kind of have set what we'd like the theme to be, but just kind of making sure that those questions will be ready in time for next week. Otherwise, the theme might be a little bit different.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll let y'all know as soon as we get that update. Mm-hmm. Also, the 28th, so the Wednesday after, will be the Patreon watch-along. This month, we are going to be watching. We're going to make my brother watch a horror movie again. Doesn't really matter because he's already seen this, like, a couple of times now?
At least, I mean, for sure once, maybe twice.
Yeah. We're going to be watching Get Out, the Jordan Peele movie that kicked off, like, Jordan Peele being a modern horror director maestro, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird. Like, lately we've been having a renaissance of horror directors coming from the comedy world. So like Jordan Peele, we had David Gordon Green doing the Halloween movies, your opinion of the Halloween trilogy and his Exorcist aside, he's still a comedic director coming over and doing horror. And there, who else was there? It was Zach Kreger with Barbarian, because he was coming from that group, The Whitest Kids You Know, and he did a phenomenal movie with Barbarian. So, yeah, I'm very much enjoying it. I want to say there's one other, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But yeah, I want to say there's another comedy person that's jumping over to the scary world. But yes, we will be doing Get Out on Wednesday the 28th, 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern. Where did we say that was streaming at?
Prime? I believe it's on Prime. I can double check real quick. I believe we said it was Prime, though.
It's not like I'm sitting at it's Hulu. Yeah, Hulu and Prime. So it is available for streaming. We will be watching that. It's a fun movie.
Not Hulu, just Prime.
It's such a good movie. I'd watch it for a third time if I could.
Wow. Just to clarify, not Hulu, just Prime.
Oh, just Prime. Is it on like Hulu through Prime or something?
I don't see Hulu at all. I just see Prime.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're going to watch that movie, so that should be fun. Upcoming shows. So we do have a marquee coming. Let's see, next month.
We just did one, but we have another one coming.
Yeah, we did the Henry Cavill marquee, which, I mean, kind of kicking myself. Like, we should have done, like, football movie marquee since it was, like, the weekend of the Super Bowl. But
next year.
We didn't think of, I didn't think of the Super Bowl. I'll take the blame for this. It's okay. I didn't think of, like, when is the Super Bowl going to be? Maybe we should time a marquee around it. I do really want to do, like, a football movie marquee
next year.
I think that would be a lot of fun. We've done something sports movies related though, didn't we?
Maybe.
I feel like I've like tier ranked Rudy or The Replacements. I know we've talked about like what's that one movie that I keep forgetting it.
That's such a stupid joke. It's so dumb. It's so
dumb.
Any
Given Sunday.
No.
The Titans. Remembering the Titans and the Friday Night Lights. I feel like we've discussed these. Or we're just talking about movies so much, it's all like one giant blur of talking about movies. But yeah, I would like to do that. So probably next year. I'll keep that in mind.
The other thing we could do is just a peek behind the curtain. Currently don't have anything set for August's marquee just quite yet. And while I could pick something since it's my birth month that we could do, I believe August is typically when football season starts.
Yes, it is.
So... we could either save football movies for Super Bowl next year, or we could do it in August this year. Something to keep in mind. Not making promises.
Yeah. I do see we got a Streamlabs from Mr. Brennen Marr. Thank you, sir. Saying, I've been rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I was thinking, with all the decades later sequels to classic franchises on movies coming out lately, do you think they could ever bring back Buffy in a movie or show?
I think it's a foregone conclusion that's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely would expect them to bring it back. In fact, right now, I actually see they could potentially do a whole. I'm making stuff up here because I never watched the show, but. They could potentially do something where they bring back. Why am I blanking on her name? Sarah Michelle Gellar, where they bring her back
Legacy
as
sequel,
like the older Buffy that's training like a new Buffy or a new group of vampire hunters. I don't know. Like I'm basing this off the idea that she survived her TV show and she didn't die or anything. So
it would be the Top Gun Maverick of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, but
it's a legacy sequel.
Oh my God, don't you dare talk about Buffy like this. No. Okay, apparently I don't know jack about Buffy. I know the movie. I saw the movie. In fact, I haven't watched that in a long time. I need to watch that again. But like the movie was entertaining. I liked it. So I definitely see a remake of at least the movie.
Ultimately, I think regardless, we will see Buffy the Vampire Slayer again. I think that's such a popular franchise that hasn't been touched in a while that I see no reason as to why they wouldn't be keen on bringing that back at some point.
Yeah. All right, Lego. I don't know. Sure. I don't know anything about Buffy.
Got him.
Yeah.
Expose him. Expose him.
See that coming. Anyway, so for the marquee, so I guess we're going to go with what we have here on the show notes. Did we agree on that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so next month, don't have a date yet because there's a lot of things happening next month. So we're going to have to sit down and actually figure out the date of where to squeeze this in at. But we're going to be tier ranking MCU villains. So whether they're in a movie, or I know we've got like maybe a couple from the like Disney Plus shows. Maybe, I don't know if we're including anything from like the Netflix or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or
Got one from the Netflix on there.
that hasn't actually been introduced to the MCU proper yet.
That isn't Wilson Fisk. He's
Okay.
he's on there, but I'm talking about one other.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. I know who it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be next month. Probably, that's probably going to be either in the beginning to mid-month, I would assume.
It's going to be either the beginning of the month, the next week after that, the week after that, or the last week of the month.
There you go.
It's going to be one of those weeks.
When I can't figure it out, my brother's there to pick up the slack that I'm dropping. So good job, sir. Very much appreciate you being here. What would we do without you?
Anyway, I think this is actually a very good point. I say give Buffy to somebody else to try to do something with.
That was the other thing too.
I actually think there's plenty of women out there who could probably now do a better Buffy the Vampire Slayer sequel of some sort or reboot of some sort than that individual who made it to begin with.
Can we give it to Greta Gerwig? Is that a possibility?
Ooh. I mean, is there a world where you get like a Buffy written by Diablo Cody? Is that something? I don't know. I don't actually know.
I don't know if that's necessarily.
I don't know if that's a good fit. I don't know things.
Diablo Cody's like foray.
I was just thinking because Lisa Frankenstein is a thing that happened recently.
Yes, it is. I will talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, next month, MCU villains ranking. Don't have to watch any new movies. We already know the villains. We're just going to talk about the villains.
But it's an extensive list. It's a very solid list.
Yeah, apparently there's been a bunch of those movies. Go figure. They're really popular and they keep making them with no end in sight. So who knows? Anyways, the other thing we have coming up pretty soon is, well, tomorrow, we're going to go see a movie.
The Bob Marley movie, right?
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah. I don't know. Like last I saw, that one's not doing too much, very well either.
It's not. It's not doing so hot.
It's not doing so hot as far as I can tell.
That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because, like, what's his name? Kingsley Benadir or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's someone who I think has potential to have a really solid career.
Okay, so it's not completely bad. It's got a 42% right now, according to critics, and audiences have rated it 97.
Wow, that actually sounds a lot better than the other movie that we're going to go see tomorrow instead.
Than the other movie we are going to go see.
Because unfortunately, comic book movies, or those related to comic book movies, sort of, are faring better on YouTube than biopics of musicians.
So the other movie that we're going to go see, Miss Madam Web, is currently at 16% to critic.
Listen, I don't want to have my mind made up about movies before going in, but I had my mind made up about this movie a long time ago.
So, yeah, what I say, 16%, and the audience is saying 66%. So I don't know what crazy. Going to see it, but yeah, the difference here with this is Madam Web is a character that like we're already familiar with. If you're into the comics, you already know of her. Oh. You know the role that she fits within the world of Spider-Man. And I'm left questioning why. Why did you make this? And I know I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it, but why are we doing this? And then on top of that, you made a movie that looks like crap, and you only released one trailer. There's no marketing for this movie.
I have a hard time like determining how I feel about how the movie looks because outside of that one trailer, I don't know how this movie looks.
Yeah. So you've got this that's currently in theaters, while we've got movies like Coyote or Acme versus Coyote that we've seen images from that looks phenomenal, that is or isn't being canceled by Zaslav or whatever. Just we'll talk about that some more here in a little bit too. But it's just kind of weird what movies are making it. Which one? I know it's 2 different studios, but
yeah.
Anyways, so that is, we will be doing a review for that. We'll do an out of the theater reaction, then we'll probably actually sit down and do a full like spoiler free review. That one we might actually talk about spoilers because who cares?
So one thing to say for those of you guys who want to know, if you are planning on going to see Madam Web, it is reported that there are no post-credit or mid-credit scenes. So once the credits hit, you can, if you want to stay and respect the people who made the movie, you may do that. But otherwise, if you're trying to wait for a mid-credit or post-credit scene, don't worry about it. Just get up and go.
Yeah. So if you need to pee or regurgitate.
Damn, being so harsh. I mean, listen, it probably deserves it, but I like to go in with this bar set so low that I might walk out going, "Hey, it was better than I thought it would be."
You have your bar set at Solo? I mean, I'd actually think Solo would probably be a better movie than this. At this
point. I guarantee Solo is a better movie.
That's what we call wordplay over here. I'm not known for doing it, but when I do it well.
Well,
hey, give me some credit.
You do it well.
Anyways, so let's go and catch up on movies watched over this past week. Chris.
Outside of whatever ones that I needed to catch up on with you guys for the Cavill marquee, because we weren't here last week before we did the Henry Cavill marquee. I already talked about those movies during the Henry Cavill marquee. So if you want to see me talk about any of the movies that Henry Cavill was in that I watched, go check out the Henry Cavill marquee. It's currently up on our channel.
Yep. Samesies.
I also rewatched The Marvels last night.
That's on Disney Plus.
And that's on Disney Plus now. And it's still delightful, and I still love it.
It was a good movie. I liked it. Yeah. The only other new one, other than also having to watch Henry Cavill movies, I did go see Lisa Frankenstein, which was okay. It was delightful. Huh? Frankenstein. Yeah, that's Mel Brooks. Yeah. Anyways, I thought it was okay. It was written by Diablo Cody, directed by Zelda Williams, the daughter of Robin Williams. So I think she's going to have a nice career, especially like with something like a playful horror. I want to see, like, I'm eager to see like what she does next. Could she go more into comedy? Like, did she get any inspiration for comedy from her father, or is she going to continue to play in this quirky horror world and give us like another horror film, maybe something more straight, not quite as quirky? It'd be interesting. But yeah, I thought the movie was pretty decent, rather good. So
rather good.
Good.
It's a good film. It's an excellent film cinema.
I do really feel like that was it Catherine Newton and Cole Sprouse. I think both of them did like a really good job of channeling like Winona Ryder and Johnny Depp, like in early Tim Burton, because that was the pure aesthetic. Cole Sprouse's character looks like what's his name from Hocus Pocus, the dead dude in that. Oh, Billy.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say he looks like what's his name from Edward Scissorhands.
No, not John. Yeah,
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, he looked more like, I think it was Billy from Hocus Pocus that had to like cut his mouth open or something like that.
Ugh, pass.
He had his mouth sewn shut like he was Deadpool or something. Anyways,
we don't talk about that Deadpool.
Yeah. So I bet you the movies are going to.
I mean, they already have touched on that Deadpool.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought they did a good job. It's nice seeing Cole Sprouse doing something. I haven't seen him since like Big Daddy back in the 90s. So
no, that was Dylan Sprouse.
Well, it was both of them. They were pulling a Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen switching.
I haven't seen him since The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Damn it! You took away what I was going to make a pun there. I was like, well, he's getting work again, so that's got to be a sweet life he's got.
Aha! It's a sweet life on deck.
Yeah. Anyway, so saw that movie. Let me see. So, oh yeah, he is also in Riverdale. I forgot about that. Was he Jughead?
I think so.
Yeah. So we've got a we got a small amount of people here. Let's say, well, go ahead and let's talk about our announcement for the channel.
Yeah, and then we'll probably also bring this up again next week or at some other point, given the fact that there's definitely some people who usually show up to these things who may or may not be lurking or here.
Yeah. So the big change that we're going to make to this channel is...
Major announcement alert. Big change happening to the Cinefanatics channel.
Yep. And let me see, where is it on the calendar?
Let me pull up the specific date.
Yes. It is going to be Wednesday, March 13th.
Ooh.
So Wednesday, March 13th.
That's the Wednesday after the Oscars, right?
Yes. Yes, it is. The Wednesday directly after the Oscars. That Wednesday night will be our last live stream tagline episode. We are ending the tagline as it is currently known as far as doing this live stream show. The original idea for tagline, if you go back, like the very first episode was right when the pandemic started at the beginning of March 2020. So that was fun. The original idea that we had for that was kind of emulating like Collider Live or SCN Live. Those of y'all that know us coming from like the Schmodown, the movie trivia Schmodown area, Collider was a big provider or a big supporter of the Schmodown when we first got into it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the people who were involved in the Schmodown also were involved with Collider. So they did that was like a daily show, wasn't it? That wasn't weekly.
It fluctuated at times, depending on the variation of what that live show was, what Christian was doing with that live show. It was either like a daily show or once every few days or kind of a thing.
Yeah. So I liked the idea of just being able to sit down and talk about movies specifically with my brother, because we do this all the time. Those of y'all who don't know, we live in the same apartment. So when the camera's not on, we're still talking about movies because we both really like movies.
Yeah.
I liked the idea of being able to do this live, do a show, bounce ideas and news stories off of one another.
Bring folks into the conversation in the chat.
Yeah. I thought it was a really good idea. The reality of this is, and the one thing I think I probably didn't keep in mind, or I did keep in mind, I just didn't care or pay attention, is what made, say, Collider Live and, say, SCN Live was primarily Christian Harloff has a comedic background. And the people that he had on the show generally also dabbled in the entertainment industry, comedy. There was people that knew Christian. They all bounced off one another very well.
They had significant experience hosting things.
Being able to come up with things on the fly, being witty. That's not me. That's not my brother.
Hey, nope. I am very witty.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, and you're not.
That's not how you yes and.
I said yes and, didn't I?
That's not how the Force works.
Anyways, so I like having a little bit of humor. It's great when I can think of something humorous, when we can think of something humorous, but that's not the foundation of the show. And the way YouTube works, doing a weekly live show is not necessarily helping to sustain the channel. Yeah. For example, those of y'all who may have noticed, I've finally done something with my YouTube channel. I've been cranking out videos pretty much every week for the past month now. And it's a little extra work, but I've been enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun. It's always great because I'm always looking forward to the next video while I'm still working on the current one. So that's amazing. But what I've noticed is the YouTube algorithm is loving what I'm doing with my channel. It's like, hey, you've had this channel for a while now. Now you're consistently putting out videos. We're going to push you to more people so more people get a look at it. I've got a video that I've done a couple of weeks ago, the reaction to Idiocracy and how much of Idiocracy is coming true nowadays. I've got over 2,000 views on that. That's amazing for that channel. that channel went from like 60, I want to say like 65 subscribers to like 135 within the past month. It has essentially doubled. So yeah, I'm learning from that, and I'm applying that to help grow Cinefanatics.
Well, even beyond, so the thing is that we were also talking about this and deciding to do this even before you started doing stuff on your channel. Like, we've been talking about what to do with Tagline now for months on end, and this is the decision that we came to over the course of, you know, a lot of talking, a lot of back and forth, kind of debating several things. One is the consistency of uploading versus the live stream model. Live stream really is more beneficial once you have already attained a large, consistent audience that wants to be present while you're doing a live stream, wants to interact with you live. And while we love the few of you guys who show up, it is not sustainable with just only you guys here. Yeah. And on top of that, it's also more so on the fact that we need to be uploading more consistently in terms of just video content, pre-recorded content on this channel, which right now the only pre-recorded content we get up on this channel is reactions or reviews as we do them. But that's not consistent content. That doesn't happen once a week or, you know, every few days. That happens whenever we happen to go see a movie that needs a review, or happens whenever there's a trailer that needs reactions. You know, it was nice that we had like the Super Bowl this last weekend where we had 5 trailers that went up in one day. But the problem with that is that that's 5 trailers. And now this next week, we don't have the same consistent upload schedule.
Or even to draw more on that is, I'll use this for an example. Before the Super Bowl this past Sunday, we had 2,030 subscribers. We're now at 2,061. We've gained like another 31 subscribers completely based off of the Super Bowl trailer reactions that we did. We've gotten a lot of views. Like one of those is like, I think over 1,000 or something already. The Wicked trailer is over 4.8 thousand views.
That's crazy.
So it's doing well. The issue with that is none of the people who are subscribed or watched those, for the most part, are currently here, or at least they're not active in the chat. So
no, and part of that also is that YouTube, just because you subscribe to a channel does not necessarily mean that YouTube is going to push your scheduled live stream out to those people who subscribe. So they may not even know that we're live, because YouTube isn't telling them that we are.
Yeah.
And also because, you know, usually in those situations, people will have notifications turned on, which we need to start telling you guys, hey, turn on notifications. That way, you know, when we're doing stuff. All that being said,
maybe we also need to start using these super chats, because then YouTube's like, oh, we're getting money from them. Okay.
No, I mean, we're only going to have like one consistent live stream a month at this point, if not maybe more, if we happen to ever get around to doing marquees more than once a month. But marquee, so that's the thing. Marquee is actually going to continue happening. We are going to continue doing a marquee live stream. That's not ending. We love doing the marquee. It's a lot of fun. It's a joy to prep for. We're just talking about Tagline as a live stream is going to come to an end. And I love our date for that too, because that is exactly 4 years since we started it. It's been 4 years doing the Tagline. So, you know, one week, or the Wednesday after Oscars. So obviously we're going to be talking about the Oscars that Wednesday. And then that's going to be our kind of final discussion live on the Tagline. So now the thing is that Tagline itself, it's a brilliant show name. And then the tagline for the Tagline is a brilliant name too, if I do say so myself. Thank you, Brain.
I was going to say, our viewers just like, wait, Tagline's ending? I'm going to go like copyright that real quick. It's mine.
Nope.
We will still be using this.
Yeah. So what's happening with Tagline is it's no longer going to be a live streamed show, but we are going to turn it into a regular uploaded program that happens on this channel. So you might be familiar with some channels that do videos uploads for whenever news breaks. I know Sean Chandler, who we've had on the channel before, does it. I know the Real Rejects do it. Yeah. the Real Rejects do it. Several channels that you might be familiar with in our community, in our space, in the movie YouTube space, they all upload individual videos for whenever there's a big breaking news story. And since we have a live stream show right now that covers news that happens throughout the week, and we consistently have news to talk about every single week, the idea being we're going to actually turn what we would normally do on this show as a live stream format and turn it into a discussion between the two of us, uploaded once, maybe twice a week, depending on if there are multiple stories to talk about throughout the week. And that will be videos that get out much sooner, much quicker, and don't have to wait for every Wednesday to be uploaded.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the other thing that really helps us out is it helps us out mentally, because while we've loved doing the tagline, it is an extra thing for us to have to schedule around, to have to think about, to have to prepare for every single week. And it's a lot easier to sit down in front of a camera, just record for 10, 15 minutes, however long those videos will end up being on a news story, than it would be for us to have to block out time a little bit before and a little bit after scheduling tagline every single Wednesday.
And like some of the things that, like doing the tagline every week on Wednesday, there's been times where we've had friends and people reaching out saying, hey, we got press screenings coming up. It's on Wednesday night. And we're like, can't go to it. We're doing tagline.
We got our show that we're doing.
So we got to do our show. In the case of, like, say, specifically tonight, Madam Web and Bob Marley One Love came out today.
Yeah.
We could be going to see one of those tonight and then going to see the other one tomorrow. But we're doing tagline tonight. That only leaves really tomorrow night for one of the movies. And we're preferring to go see Madam Web over One Love for some weird, crazy reason. But
so basically what we're saying is that it's more beneficial for us to not have this show scheduled to go live every single Wednesday. It's going to be more beneficial for the channel, for us to be freed up to be able to go see these movies as they release whenever, or get press screenings whenever, as we will start pushing more and more towards being able to get press screenings for this channel and what we're doing here. And it's going to make it a lot better for the YouTube algorithm for us to be uploading consistent news videos throughout the week, every single week. And it's just going to end up benefiting the channel overall, as we're going to see more and more positive growth from that consistent algorithm push.
Yep.
Plus, it's going to be fun. I would love to sit down and just do these, news videos. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to be able to do those and kind of give our thoughts in and of the moment, at the moment when they happen.
Now, I'm not saying that we'll never bring back this live format again. I really want to bring it back when we have a bigger sustainable audience. I love being able to do this and having people watch and interact with y'all in the chat. But I think what's really going to help the channel would be doing something like that on a larger scale, with more, at least double-digit people watching it throughout the entire program. So once we start achieving that level here, then we'll bring this back. But in the meantime, yeah, it's going to be tagline, little individual short news, and that will start pretty much right after March 13th. So,
yep.
Anyways, we're not pulling a Matt Patton quitting YouTube, regardless of what my tweet yesterday said. That was just because I don't want to review certain movies. But anyways, that being said, let's do what we are supposed to do here, and let's get on to some movie news.
Ladies and gentlemen,
good evening. This is what's happening in your world tonight.
We apologize for the interruption.
Back to you.
This is going to be a fun thing too, because I would love to still talk about box office, but us making an entire box office video every single week, based on the fact that I'm pretty much just reading out the top 10 and we're giving our thoughts on that, I don't feel like that's sustainable enough as its own individualized video. Plus, we all know that Dan Merle does it far better than me anyway. So it might be something that we tread into later on when I have the time to actually put as much work and effort in as, say, like Dan does for his. But
the good Lord did create and invent TikTok for a reason.
It's true. I mean, we could. I mean, theoretically, yeah, we could turn a box office rundown into a short and or TikTok and or any of that stuff. We have the power.
We have the means. We have the technology. We can do it.
We can rebuild it as a TikTok.
Bigger, better, faster, longer,
shorter. Not longer. Definitely shorter.
Well, I mean, I'm just listing these off, and I'm almost certain that Kanye West is going to sue me for that.
I don't. Who cares? Who cares? Wait.
And Daft Punk, whatever.
Anyway, let's talk about the box office, guys. Your number one this week. What do we think it is? What do we think number one this week is?
Lisa Frankenstein.
Keep in mind we weren't able to do it last week because we weren't here last week. But
Lisa Frankenstein.
You would think the brand new movie that opened up this last weekend would be number one, but no, it's actually still Argyle. Argyle has been number one for 2 weeks in a row now. The sad truth is that it's number one with about $6.2 million in the box office. That's not a lot.
No, what's sad is it's going to get knocked out of the number one spot probably by Madam Web.
Yeah, we'll see. Number two is Lisa Frankenstein with 3.6 million in its opening week. I don't know how big the budget was for that movie, but that's also not a lot. I imagine that the budget for that one isn't as large. Definitely not as large as Argyle.
Lisa Frankenstein is one that's going to do better once it gets like home viewing. And it's very likely I could see it like pushing like Jennifer's Body type cult level. Like it's even supposed to take place in the same universe as Jennifer's Body, apparently. I guess we got the Diablo Cody screenwriter universe.
Is Juno in there too?
Juno might be in there. Who knows? I've yet to see another hamburger phone in one of these movies, but you never know.
Lisa Frankenstein also, if it's getting good word of mouth from audiences, it could actually pick up a few legs a little bit in its run, but we'll see. Obviously, yeah, we got Madam Web and Bob Marley opening up this week, so we will see where the two of them lie. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those are number one and the other one's either number two or number three, depending on what audiences feel like. Number three this week, though, is, well, 3, 4, and 5 are the same as they have been. 3 is The Beekeeper, 4 is Wonka, and 5 is Migration. The fact that Wonka, which has been out for 9 weeks now, is still sitting at number 4 tells you that the box office isn't very alive right this second. Now, that's all going to change once we get more movies that people are looking forward to opening up. You know, the box office is going to be hella alive when Deadpool 3 or Deadpool and Wolverine shows up. So I would bank on that. Number 6 is A Fathom of It. This isn't even a movie. It's The Chosen Season 4, episodes 1 through 3. Okay, anyway, moving on. Number 7 is Anyone But You. Number 8, Mean Girls. Number 9, American Fiction. And number 10, Poor Things. So we see American Fiction and Poor Things still in the top 10, both rolling off of the nominations for the Oscars. The fact that they've already been in the box office. So they're kind of continuing their run a little bit more because of the nominations for them.
They should be getting available to watch at home pretty soon.
I feel like we discovered that American Fiction already is.
Poor Things is not.
Poor Things is not.
I could have sworn I saw an announcement, though, that it was coming.
The other thing to talk about, I didn't see where the others landed, but there is currently a Pixar movie that was re-released, Turning Red, which didn't have a theatrical run before because of the pandemic. Made $500,000 in its reopening weekend, basically.
That's not bad for a movie that has already been released.
Zero marketing.
No marketing. All you do is you just send a digital copy out to the movie theaters for them to play and sell tickets, and you make $500,000. I think it's weird that they said, "Hey, we're going to do this," and then it doesn't feel like they said anything else about it. They're like, "Hey, these movies are going to come back out in the theater. Okay, go see it in the theater. Okay, all right, that's all you're going to know." I mean, that's still good. It's like the was it Mr. Beast when he put one of his videos up on Twitter. All you were doing is just sitting. That video was just sitting as a file on a hard drive somewhere, and you just upload it to Twitter, and you make all this money. So, kudos.
I mean, yeah, theoretically, yes, it is. $500,000 that the movie didn't originally make beforehand.
What do I have laying around that I could put up like out of nowhere and just start making money off of it?
We need to go talk to our parents and see if we have any home movies that we can throw up. And
all the Disney World videos that our dad filmed.
Oh, those things are definitely not functional now. They were already like starting to fall apart by the time I was hitting like middle school, high school. They're not watchable now, 20-something years later.
Yeah. Anyways. So that is the box office. Let's get on to some actual movie news. So going back, talking about the Warner Brothers and this whole thing with Acme and Coyote. So apparently it's now being again said that they actually are not interested in selling. They've put out offers to studios for like 70 to 80 million and nobody wants to buy it at that price, and they just immediately shut the door to negotiations or letting the other studios counter, which is basically it sounds like they're just trying to save face. Like they heard the internet scream out like how evil that is to just can a movie that's already been made, and so they're like, okay, no, we're going to let people see it. We're just going to let another studio buy it and showcase it themselves. But they didn't actually have any real intention of doing that, is what it looks like. So, yeah, it's weird. And then on top of that, the fact that Warner Brothers is still making deals with other actors and studios and producers and stuff in good faith that they're going to be allowed to make a movie and not have the movie shut down or canceled.
Yeah.
That's just really odd, and like I feel like Warner Brothers is setting a really bad precedence, especially like we got like right now this whole issue with Roadhouse. The Roadhouse remake is that it was originally supposed to go to the theater, and then after MGM was purchased by Amazon, that Amazon was like, yeah, we're just going to put it out on the streaming. Apparently everyone knew Amazon was just going to release it streaming, but they're still upset and they want a theatrical run. It's just really weird how studios interact with movies and the people who make the movies.
Yeah.
And it just wish everyone would get on the same page and everything would just be nice and simple and easy, but they won't do that.
Listen, Jared actually brings up a good question. Who is the person group that can get him out of WB, get Zaslav out of WB?
The board.
That would be the board. Like any company, the only people who can get rid of the president of the company would be the board. They can all like come to a vote and vote him out, basically, and get him essentially let go, fired, whatever. And then they'll vote in somebody else instead. I've been talking about that for a while too, that I believe that we will probably see him get voted out at some point. Now, the thing at the end of the day is I don't know if other executives at WB feel the same way as the general public about any of this, about what Zaslav has done, is doing, or the decisions that he's made. I would hope so. I would hope that individuals at WB have half a brain. But business is kind of beyond our comprehension in terms of what it is they do. We only get information that's presented to the public. We never get to see the inner workings or the goings-ons or the month-by-month, year-by-year plans of companies. And that in no way defending Zaslav or any of the decisions that he's made. But I'm saying that there might be reasons for them to want to keep him for the time being. So don't get disappointed if, actually do get disappointed if we don't see him get ousted, but he's probably not going to get ousted. All that being said, yeah, it's interesting that other studios have been making offers for Acme versus Coyote. And that is people have been wanting to see this movie now. Now movies like it's getting press, it's getting marketing now. People want to see it
for free.
Other shows are like Looney Tunes Project. Yeah, Looney Tunes are they're bankable. They're a known IP. We would love to be able to produce that or put that out for people to see and make whatever we can off of it. It would basically be almost like free money for any other studio, except for the fact that it would have to pay for the rights for it.
They're trying to save face after that last Space Jam was just, yeah.
It's just, and that honestly, that might be part of the reason why they're making the decision to shelve the movie too, which I would have felt like you should have made that decision before you actually made the movie. I feel like that would be the smarter plan. But
if I may interject with the Looney Tunes character real quick.
Oh God.
That David Zaslav is a fucking idiot.
Oh gosh.
There you go. Marvin the Martian and his thoughts and opinions of it.
You feel better now?
I do.
Anyway, so yeah, it's weird that these studios have all put out like offers and WB's like, no, we don't want to sell it to you.
We did our thing. We offered it. The public, we tried. We offered it. They didn't want to buy it. So
we put it out there. And they didn't want. No, you didn't want to sell it for the price that you offered it at.
It's not our fault. They weren't buying it.
And there's still a world where we talk about the actual legality of completely scrapping and deleting an entire movie that's already been made, and people have already put time and effort and work into it and all that. And I don't know what the actual legality behind that is, because as of right now, it sounds like it's technically legal until someone declares it illegal. And maybe this and Batgirl might be the precedent cases to say that, hey, this should not be legal.
The president case?
Precedent.
This doesn't have immunity. Oh, wait, you're talking about something different. Sorry, I'm on a different train of thought.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
I just think it's funny because a lot of the discussion has been that why would anybody trust WB? Yeah. Why would anybody trust to work for WB when at any point they're going to turn around and scrap your movie? They've done it twice now, or they've done it once and they're doing it twice. We know that Netflix has done it also, but no one's really talking about that because WB is the current one that everyone is looking at now, up for a second time of doing this. Why would anybody want to work with WB if they know that the amount of time and effort they're going to spend on a movie is going to be all for naught?
Potentially.
And my thought on this whole thing has always been, we've got a limited time on this planet. Some of us less time than others. Nobody knows how long they've got to spend, how many years they've got to spend on this planet. And artists, specifically, movie actors, directors, everybody involved with making a movie wants to spend their time in their career, which most people's careers also a smaller amount of the time that they have to spend on this planet living. Their careers are even a fraction of their entire life. And nobody wants to spend even a portion of their career working on something that's never going to see the light of day, that's never going to get audience reception, that's never going to get any of that. So why would anybody want to spend their time making a movie for WB when that movie could be deleted, when instead they could make a movie for somebody else and people will actually get to see and potentially enjoy that movie instead? That's how I wouldn't want to work with a company that's like, yeah, you get paid, but it's not just about the money.
Yeah. Well, so like we just recently had this story of like Tom Cruise signing a deal with Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the position here specifically for the example of Tom Cruise? Is he coming into this like, well, I could make a movie, probably risking my life, jumping off of a cliff, a building, a train, a plane, automobile, whatever, and y'all are just going to turn around and scrap it? Or the other side of this is he going to be complacent in it? Well, I just want to make movies and I'm going to sign a deal with Warner Brothers and I don't care that they're destroying art. I just want to come in and make movies. At what point are these other companies that Warner Brothers is making deals with, when are they going to be held responsible for supporting this situation? And this is something I feel like it will blow up on Twitter eventually. Twitter is the type of place where this kind of a thought runs rampant. So I might be blowing open some gates here. But
so my opinion on that exact thought is I feel like that's a non-issue. I feel like, yeah, Twitter, there will be individuals on Twitter who will
just how it went.
Right. There'll be people on Twitter who will probably be like, hey, you shouldn't work with WB. They're doing this. Do you not stand for art? But at the same time, I think the only people we need to hold responsible for what WB is doing to movies is just WB. I don't care about who they choose to work with or who signs with them. Everyone's got to sign with a studio if they want a movie made. You know, folks gotta work. Folks gotta create art. Folks gotta get paid. You know, all that stuff. Everything that goes into the movie industry still has to run. So I don't hold accountable anybody who signs with WB. The only people I hold accountable for WB's decisions is WB.
Which is the responsible, logical way of looking at it.
Yeah.
As my video about Idiocracy and how true the future is has shown, that's not likely where people are going to take it. We are probably very likely going to hear people talking about that.
Yeah, because what people
the bubble.
What people want to do is they want to tackle the issue from another direction, and they want individuals who work with WB to, for lack of a better way of phrasing this, feel shame about working with WB to the point where they don't want to work with WB. And then WB has to be like, well, nobody wants to work with us because they all feel ashamed to work with us because of the decisions that we've made. And they want to tackle it from that route. I think, honestly, the biggest thing that's going to happen and the thing that's actually going to push WB the most is that in 3 years, when we're back to doing strikes again over fair workplace practices in the movie industry, this will be an issue that comes up, especially if any of these companies do it again. I mean, we've already got Netflix has done it, WB doing it twice, slightly related, but not exactly the same thing. We have Disney removing things like Willow, the Willow TV series, off of Disney Plus. You know, streamers, companies taking their products off of their streaming services and having absolutely zero way of the audience being able to watch any of them. And I think all of these things will come up when the industry decides to do some kind of a strike again.
Well, it's not actually a zero way, but that beside the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know, like, Disney, you said Disney. We know Disney has done stuff like this before, but I believe it was done for, like, legitimate reasons. Best example is going to be Song of the South. Song of the South has still, to this day, has never seen an official, I don't know if it's all of North America or if it's just the USA, but has never seen an American release officially.
You can find bootlegs of it all over the place. Sure.
You can watch it if you want, but yeah, Disney is like, oh yeah, we messed up on this. We're not releasing this.
Yeah.
So
far as to
take down that splashy mountain thing that we
I was say
just in case.
So far as to say that an entire ride at Disney parks is getting completely redone. So
yeah,
it's taking a while, but they're finally doing it.
Yeah. So, like, that I can understand the legitimate reasons why specifically that movie. But as far as I heard, there's no, like, sensitive, like, race topics in Acme versus Coyote. I mean, unless we're, like, against coyotes or Acmes. I don't know.
How dare.
I mean, do we not like Batgirls? Yeah, I want to make sure I'm saying that one correct. Did we not like Batgirls? Because we shelved that one as well.
You need to stop before you flub your mouth too much. Good Lord.
But yeah, like stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this develops because this is going to continue. The more
breaking news,
get away with it.
Breaking news: we said we were going to end Tagline in a month. It's actually ending tonight.
It's ending tonight.
This is our last Tagline.
So
some of y'all just joined Tagline here within the last few minutes and don't know exactly what it was I just said. Well, you should have tuned in earlier.
We'll talk about it briefly here.
We'll cover it again.
Moving on from that subject, though, is speaking of Tom Cruise, apparently he's looking to join Quentin Tarantino's final movie, The Movie Critic.
Yeah, sure.
It sounds like it's going to be like a cameo or a short role.
His feet.
So That would be interesting. I would love to see Tom Cruise in a Tarantino movie. Now, Tom Cruise is someone who is, again, as I said, known for action and stunts. So what is he going to do in a movie where it's heavily relying on talking and dialogue?
Walk barefoot on some hot coals.
That seems about right. So, I mean, if we can get Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt in a Tarantino movie, that's awesome. Let's throw George Clooney in there, too, while we're at it.
They're going to foot wrestle.
Flipping for real.
All three of them, three-way foot wrestle. Let's go. I don't know what this has to do with a movie critic, but it's in the movie.
Yeah. Quinn wants Tom Cruise in the movie because he's a foot shorter than everyone. Oh!
Now, why is Tom Cruise actually catching strays here? Hold on.
Anyway, so yeah, that'll be interesting. Let's talk about the big news, though. Big news that came out today. As I said earlier, woke up this morning and was greeted by the official casting has finally happened.
Do we know about it for like weeks now?
Also, nice to know that we can now also officially announce that the SAG-AFTRA strike is officially over.
Yeah.
Y'all remember when they said that? Like, they said, like, hey, we've got the casting in place. We'll make the announcement as soon as the strike's over. 3 months later.
Has it been 3 months since it ended?
Something like that. It's been since the beginning of November when the actor strike. So the writer strike ended in September. The actor strike was at the beginning of November. So yeah, it's been November, December, January. Technically, we're in month 4 now.
I truly wonder if they meant to hold on to that casting announcement until like some kind of like Disney event or Comic-Con or something like that. And they meant to like hold off on it until then. But then they just realized, dang it, it's getting out. People already have been talking about it. Freaking Shackman over here accidentally or whatever said something about Pedro Pascal's going to work, and then he had to delete his whole Instagram account or whatever.
Yeah, and SAG announced it also.
SAG said something. You know what? Just get someone to draw up a Valentine's Day photo with all of them as Fantastic Four people, and we'll just put that out as an ad.
What happens when you have big major news and you decide to sit on it for months? It's going to get leaked. So,
that being said, the leak of who will be playing Dr. Doom will probably be happening very shortly as well.
Yeah. So real quick, going over this. So it has been confirmed what we've been talking about already. Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic. Vanessa Kirby. I was going to say Kirby Reed, but that's
Jack Kirby.
Vanessa Kirby. Jack the King Kirby. Vanessa Kirby is going to be Sue Storm. We've got Joseph Quinn, who was phenomenal in Stranger Things, is taking over the role of Johnny Storm. And Ebon Moss-Bachrach is playing the Thing, Ben Grimm. I love that casting. With the exception that I'm not a huge fan of actors from Marvel properties replaying different roles. Like, it's just a little weird, and I know I can't suspend the disbelief enough to understand that they're completely different characters.
Who are you talking about?
Ebon Moss-Bachrach. He played Microchip in the Punisher Netflix show, which Netflix, I get that, but
doesn't count.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Alfred Woodard if you want to bring that up.
Yeah, or Blade.
Yeah,
Cottonmouth. He was also.
It's the Blade movie hasn't happened yet. At any point, Mahershala Ali could just jump ship.
Yeah.
Please no, but it's possible.
But otherwise, I think that's some pretty solid casting. The only one that I feel that I'm questioning how well it's going to look, and I'm going to reserve like full judgment for when we actually get official stills, a trailer, and the movie. But I would still like kind of question exactly how Vanessa Kirby does as Sue Storm. I think she's got the look, but I'm not.
That's the one you're questioning?
Yeah. Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic, I get. The reason I question Vanessa Kirby specifically is I think she's got the look of Sue Storm down. I just want to see how it's playing, because with it being a family first, which is not necessarily what we've seen in the previous movies, I want to see her as like a motherly type of character, even though I don't know if she's already going to have kids, if they're going to have kids by this, like Franklin, and I forgot the sister's name, their daughter's name.
Well, so I'll put it this way. I believe she's going to do well because even if they don't have Franklin yet, family-wise, we've already seen her as someone's sister.
Yeah.
In Hobbs and Shaw.
As kind of like a rebel.
Yeah, and so we'll see her at least as a sister to Johnny Storm in this movie. She's part of a family. Bingo, we got it.
And I think another reason why I focus more on her is because, like, look at the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies. They got all the casting correct, with the exception of Doctor Doom. And I'm not a big fan of Jessica Alba playing Sue Storm.
Yeah.
So I feel confident in like the Reed, Johnny, and Ben.
So yeah, talking about who we're questioning. My only question really would be Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. Not because I don't think he can't handle the role, because I think that man can handle whatever you put on his plate. He was definitely not the worst part of Wonder Woman 84. And he has been fantastic in absolutely everything I've seen him in. I trust that man can act his way out of a garbage bag anytime you want him to.
Yeah.
It's just as far as what age are we portraying Mr. Fantastic? What age are we portraying Reed to be at? And
didn't we discover that there's like was it like 5 or 6 year difference between them?
Vanessa Kirby is pretty close to my age, so around 34, 35. And he is, I believe, he's still in his 40s, I believe. So there's probably like a 10-year difference, maybe.
He's 48.
He's 48. Yeah. Okay. So there's going to be roughly about a 10 to 15-year difference between them.
She's 35.
She's 35. Yeah.
Okay, so that
13-year difference.
That's a significant age difference there.
But yeah, this
it's still better than the 94 Fantastic Four, where Reed was already an adult, and yeah, John Cena's place Storm, that would have been great.
Can't see him. Can't see him.
In the 94, Reed was an adult already, like in college, and he was friends with the woman that was like the foster mom to Sue and Johnny, who were both kids. And Sue had a crush on him, and then they fast forward in time, and she's an adult, and they start a relationship. And I always thought that was kind of weird in that movie.
So what I'm actually thinking they're going to do, and here's my prediction based on now seeing the cast, what I think we're going to do is that we are going to already have kids. Franklin's already going to exist at least. And the other thing I'm thinking is, one, Sue might be playing, or Vanessa Kirby might be playing a little bit older than she is in real life, and Pedro Pascal might be playing a little bit younger than he is in real life, both of which actors can always do.
Yeah.
On top of that, we're getting strong 60s vibes from their imagery right now, which means there might be a layer of time traveling or moving up through time involved. We might get a 60s story and they do something like Captain America or Captain Marvel where they end up in the present time. All that being said, I believe that we are going to be beyond a general origin story here. We will probably get a brief flashback or some kind of recap of what happened in their origin. But I do believe that we will be moving beyond the origin story, because we've seen origin stories for Fantastic Four now in 2 different franchises, essentially.
Yeah.
And so, like Spider-Man, we don't really have to cover over that again for the MCU. We kind of know what the Fantastic Four origin is now. I think they can kind of lightly cover it while moving directly into what is the main focus of the movie.
I do want to bring back real quick that poster. I kind of want to look over a couple of things with this, because I thought this was interesting. First of all, yes, there's that 60s aesthetic to it, the logo. It looks like this is going to take place in the 60s, which does bring back kind of like what you were saying. Is this going to be a time travel thing? Because I would expect that we also want to get the Fantastic Four like in current modern days. This may also feed into like Secret Wars as they may come across time or another dimension. The Fantastic Four here may even be in a different dimension than what is currently referred to in the movie world as 616.
Right.
Which is the sacred timeline that we've been following ever since Iron Man. So this may be a different dimension, in which case they just travel from 1960 to current present day MCU. And they just live there from here on out. So that would be one explanation. A couple other things to look at here is this may also give us a first look of the Fantastic Four costumes that Reed and Sue are wearing in this outfit or in this poster,
or at least their first costumes, like what they wore when everything went down, the accident went down.
You got the robot Herbie that's in the left corner. Herbie was created for the cartoon show because the producers were afraid that kids would set themselves on fire seeing Human Torch, so they removed the Human Torch from the cartoon and replaced him with Herbie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's wild.
Then also you get is this going to be the look of the Thing? Is this what they're modeling him after? Because he looks good.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be pretty dang close. I mean, we're looking at Hulk now, and the various iterations of Hulk in movie form have been almost 1-to-1 to what Hulk looks like in the comics. So I'd see no reason. He's going to be largely CGI probably. So I see no reason as to why he can't look exactly 1-to-1 from the comics.
Yeah. And then Thing is reading looks like a Life magazine or Time magazine, Time Life, whatever, from the 60s that had, was it Johnson? Was it Johnson that was on it?
Lyndon Johnson, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of things in this.
Yeah, so we're looking at this, and judging based on that cover, I believe that was Lyndon Johnson addressing the nation after Kennedy's assassination. So we're specifically looking at a 1963 oriented image here, especially because I know what we were talking about in the 60s is when we were pushing to go into space and everything, and so you have that image of Ben Grimm in the frame on the background in an astronaut suit. So that's another thing to look at there. There's going to be large spacefaring stuff happening in the 60s. There's a lot that image tells us. And the other side note I have to say is that Ebon Moss-Bachrach is such inspired casting for Ben Grimm. Before anybody was talking about him being rumored and then obviously confirmed here, nobody was thinking about him for Ben Grimm. And if somebody tells you they were, they're lying. Nobody was thinking about him.
Still the GOAT.
Huh?
Michael Chiklis is the GOAT of Ben Grimm.
Michael Chiklis was fantastic, but Ebon is going to be such a great choice for this. I've only seen a little bit of his work. I've watched the first episode of The Bear. I haven't gotten into watching the rest of it. He's fantastic in that first episode that I saw. I did watch Andor, and the episodes that he's in Andor, he is fantastic in that show as well. So I have a little bit of experience with him and his body of work, a little bit of his body of work. And so I'm very eagerly anticipating his version of the Thing. I'm actually kind of wondering what they do with him. Are they going to do the full-on CG thing the entire time, or are they going to do something where they are able to go back and have him be like Ben Grimm and back and forth like they kind of did in the Tim Story movies?
I would assume that they're probably going to CGI him.
Mostly. Like that is straight up like we get Hulk as Hulk the entire time. Or are we going to get Ben Grimm as Thing the entire time?
Yeah. So David Cross is the greatest thing of all time. Yeah, there was an episode of Arrested Development where he dressed up where they had like some of the cast dressed up as the Fantastic Four, and he was Thing.
Crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I'm really curious as to where they're going to go with Doom. What was it that people were saying they were potentially looking at Ben Mendelsohn?
No, Ben Mendelsohn has recently talked about if he were to rejoin the MCU in a different role, that he would love to play Doctor Doom. The thing is, he's not a bad choice, but the problem is that I just don't see that happening with him having already played, what's his name, the Skrull. See, I don't even, like, this is how much I actually care about Secret Invasion.
Talos.
Yeah. So my issue there is that, he's caked in a bunch of makeup and prosthetics for Talos, but there are times when he actually was Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. And because of those moments, I just don't think you can reuse. It's very hard. Like anyone who's in and I would call Talos a significant role. Anyone who's in a significant role, whose face is uncovered, being in another significant role, whose face might be uncovered at some point, I just don't think that works. Like we're talking about Alfre Woodard, she was only in a very minor role in Captain America: Civil War. So I think that works, especially because her prior role was a Netflix show that people were questioning whether or not that was going to be canon or not. Gemma Chan, having been in Captain Marvel, but under a bunch of makeup, looking completely different than how she looks in Eternals. Those things are fine. But in this situation, I don't think Ben Mendelsohn really is the best choice for Dr. Doom.
Because we are going to have to see Victor Von Doom without a mask on at some point. They will do a flashback to like him and Reed as like college buddies or friends or something like that.
Yeah.
So
now, if we were to get someone who already played in the MCU before and is coming back for a different role again, Bango, Mads Mikkelsen would be absolutely fantastic as Dr. Doom, especially up against Pedro Pascal's Reed. Love it.
Now, if they could actually make Dr. Doom was the human vessel for Caecilius the whole time, and that was actually Victor Von Doom's body that we saw in Doctor Strange, and Caecilius was just inhabiting it, that would be kind of weird.
I don't know if that really works because Caecilius was actually a person himself.
Yeah, the only issue with that is you do see Caecilius without the makeup and stuff at the beginning of Doctor Strange, but it's such a small, it's like the cold open. He's only in there for like 5 minutes, and then he's got the makeup on for the rest of the movie.
I think in that situation, people will be like, "Can Marvel explain this one? How is the guy who played Caecilius also playing Doctor Doom?" And their response will be, "Because he is. Get over it." So, yeah. I think that Mads Mikkelsen would be a great choice. The other choice that's been floating around out there that I would be equally as happy with is Cillian Murphy. If Cillian Murphy wants to do another masked villain in a comic book property, Doctor Doom would be absolutely amazing. And that's my choices: Cillian Murphy or Mads Mikkelsen.
I'm kind of upset though, like, why can't they get an actual Latvian to play Doctor Doom? Like, stop.
Because that country doesn't exist. It's the same.
Why can't we be diverse and get a Latvian actor to play a Latvian character? I mean, come on.
The same reason why they didn't get any actual Wakandans to play Wakandans in the movie.
And I'm surprised that there's not a bigger stink about that. I mean, come on. Where's the internet uproar on that one?
Sometimes I think the internet and the people who make up the internet are really, really dumb, but I don't think anyone's actually that dumb. Wakanda doesn't actually exist, and neither does Latveria.
Oh my God, Jared.
From a stunt casting perspective,
that would be
absolutely. From a perspective of would it actually be good? Not at all.
I like Lego here. Ralph Ineson. The only problem though is no one would understand a single word that Dr. Doom says. And it's not because he would be under a mask, it's because Ralph Ineson would be doing his voice, and that man's accent is super thick. I had to watch the Vivitch with subtitles on because I couldn't understand a single thing he was saying. And he was also talking in a very heavy, like, Puritan dialect. So, yeah, he's hard to listen to.
Oh, that's right. He was in The Creator.
Yes, he was. Briefly.
Was he the one... Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm mistaken. Was he the one in Inglourious Bastards?
I don't think Ralph Ineson was in Inglourious Bastards.
I was thinking he was the guy at the beginning that Hans Landa was talking to in his home.
No, that's Denis Minochet.
Ah, gotcha. My brain made them look like the same person in my head.
It's the only role I know that actor from, and he did such a good job that I randomly remember his name. I don't know why. There's things that, like I did earlier today, I can't remember, but yet I remember Denny Minochet.
Maybe people are that dumb. I don't know. I'd like to have hope sometimes.
Anyways, anything else about the Fantastic Four casting, whatnot?
Mads Mikkelsen and Cillian Murphy, please. I don't know who else would be. Also, they were talking about Silver Surfer and Galactus playing a part in this still.
I don't want them in this movie yet. I do want them. I want Silver Surfer and Galactus done by the MCU, and I guarantee we're going to get them at some point. I don't want them yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
I want a proper, I've already said this before plenty of times, that I want, if nothing else, Fantastic Four is like a backdoor origin for Silver Surfer, and then that's how we get into the Galactus storyline.
Maybe so. Here's at the end of the day, I think if the story is good, the story is good. If they can do it and make it good, then go ahead and do it. But if you're forcing it, if you're having to force it, and it's just not gelling, be honest about it not gelling and don't force it. Do a different story.
Yeah. Anyways, so that is going to do it for Fantastic Four. So real quick, let's reiterate the big channel change that is happening for those of you who weren't here when we were talking about earlier. Wednesday, March 13th, the Wednesday after the Oscars, will be our final live tagline. We are switching the tagline to a video upload, a pre-recorded format. We're not going to do this whole live show type of situation. We'll talk about movie news as it pops up, basically.
So I would expect basically every single video that is the tagline that comes out after that date to be about one centralized news topic. And if there's multiple news stories, each news story will have its own video.
Yeah. Instead of us sitting here for like an hour and 17 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll just have short, easily digestible pieces of movie news that people can click on, watch, get to know our personalities, how we think of movies, what we are knowledgeable about, what flubs I may say that will inevitably get edited out because I have that power and control. So I'm not getting canceled yet. So
keyword yet.
Yet. It's going to happen eventually. I don't know how. I'm a good, nice, decent person, but
don't say that.
Anyway, so as far as other things, like we will be doing our annual Oscars watch along. I know I mentioned before that I would like to do an award show. I don't think that's actually going to be in the cards yet.
Yeah.
I want to do an award show, but it's kind of like the same idea. For us to do an award show, I feel like we need to have more followers, more people who are watching on a regular basis who actually give a damn about why we're choosing our awards and stuff. But that is something I want to keep on the back burner. We will be doing that eventually at some point.
What I would like too is even to have like some kind of a situation where, if we get more and more patrons subscribing to the Patreon, we can do like a Patreon voted Cinefanatics Awards type situation. But that's an idea for another day. Anyways,
so things coming up. Patreon, did you ever hear back?
Yes, we do have confirmation. The Patreon trivia this month will be Black cinema in celebration of Black History Month. So
yeah, might be some movies we need to watch real quick.
I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I am good with any questions from Friday. The whole trilogy of Friday movies I am good on.
Ask me about Black Panther and Jordan Peele.
Yeah, might need to catch up on some Medea though, so we'll see.
It's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah. So that is going to be next week after the tagline. Again, if you're at the $5 tier on the Patreon, you can join us for that. So that'll be next Wednesday, the 21st, 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern. The following Wednesday will be the Patreon watch along on the Wednesday, the 28th. Again, after tagline at 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern, we will be watching Get Out. So
both things will be happening in the Discord. So if you are part of our Patreon at that $5 tier, all you'll have to do is just jump into the voice queue on the Discord after around that time. So,
next month we will be doing the marquee. We are going to be tier ranking MCU villains. Don't have a date yet. We will figure that out because again, there's a lot of stuff happening next month. So we will figure out that date and we'll probably have that figured out by like next week, I would assume. And then we're going to have some kind of a review for Madam Web up. We are going to go see it tomorrow night. So we'll have the out of the theater reaction, which I know everyone's just eager to see our thoughts.
I'm excited.
And then we'll have the actual review. Yeah, that's all we've got coming up for right now.
I just want to be clear. Does my face look excited about Madam Web?
You look like Alex DeLarge from Clockwork Orange having to have his like eye like forced open to watch.
Yeah. You know why? You know why? Because my eyes are screaming right now.
Anyways, so that is what's coming up. And I think we're going to call it a night on the show for tonight. So thank you. Thank you, everyone who was watching. Very much appreciate y'all being here. If you're watching this on a replay, we appreciate y'all giving this a rewatch as well. Let us know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions down below in the comments. Make sure you follow us on social media. We are at the Cinefanatics on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. You can follow me personally at RCA Reacts on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, and YouTube.com/@RCA Reacts.
And you can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, as well as twitch.tv/Chris Adams MLP.
Anyways, that is going to do it for tonight. Very much appreciate everyone watching. We will see you later. A good night.
Bye.